My name's Karen. If you haven't done my class today, and well, just enjoy it, hopefully. It's suitable for everybody, all levels really, unless you have any specific injuries. If you do have injuries at all, make sure you're safe to do these exercises because I can't see you, so you're doing everything at your own risk. So listen to your bodies, basically. If anything causes you any pain or discomfort, just stop doing it. Rest anytime you need to, and we should get going. So we'll do a standing warm-up first of all, just so we can get our spines moving in all different planes of movement, forwards, backwards, sideways, a little bit of a twist. And then we'll go down onto the mat to do our mat Pilates exercises. So we need to set ourselves up. So we've got a really nice, good standing posture. So standing with your legs hip distance apart. So your legs are going to be fairly narrow, like tram lines. So just make sure your heels are underneath the bony parts of your hips, not the outsides, the bony parts of your hips. So your heels, your knees are tracking those hip bones. Then just look forwards, just lengthen your neck and lift up through the top of your head, feeling the chest rise. Feel the front of the shoulders open, and then try and soften your ribs down towards your hips. From there, just pop your arms down by your side. Just try and find what we call our neutral pelvis position. So just tuck your tailbone under very slightly, a little slight tug of the tail without disturbing anything else you've just set up. Then just tip the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then just try and settle in a position in between that tip and tilt. And that is neutral. So that's a good safe position for your pelvis, which supports your back, keeps your back safe, but we need to draw the abdominals in to keep the pelvis in that position. So just feel your abdominals, really drawing them in. So if you're zipping up a tight pair of trousers, feel like you're really zipping up. Or alternatively, you can lift up your pelvic floor, so a really big lift there. So from there, just let your arms release down by your sides, shoulders away from your ears. Let's just start to take a few gentle shoulder rolls. So just bring your shoulders forwards up by your ears, and then slide your shoulder blades back and down, just while we take that focus into our breathing. So breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. Try and breathe wide and deep into the sides and the back of the rib cage. So not into your belly, so you can keep your abdominals pulled in. One more last little shoulder roll like that. Then just bend your elbows and pop your fingertips on top of your shoulders. Lift your elbows up and wide to the sides. And then from there, breathe in. As you breathe out, bring your elbows forward, take them up towards the ceiling, take them behind and down towards the floor. And going again, breathing in as your elbows lift up, and breathing out as they go behind and down. So big reach forwards, up, behind and down. Like you're drawing circles on the side walls with your elbows. Nice big movement through your shoulder blades. When your elbows come forward, draw them in towards each other so you feel the shoulders wide across your back. When your elbows go behind and down, just feel the front of the chest open. Just do one more like that. Breathing in, elbows up, and breathing out, they go back and down. Just let your arms fall towards the sides. I'm just going to turn sideways, stay where you are. Just pop your hands on your thighs and just take a little bend in the knee, as if you're going to sit down in a chair. Keep your spine nice and long, elbows a little bit wider than your ribs here. We're going to do a standing cat and cow. So from here, pull the abdominals in, breathe in. As you breathe out, just tuck your tailbone under, rounding the spine, slowly flexing. Last of all, bring your chin in towards your chest. So a lovely cat stretch here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, start with your sit bones, tip them up towards the ceiling. Slowly arching your back the other way, lifting your chest and looking forwards. Breathe in. As you breathe out, going again. So just pressing gently into your feet, maintaining that stability in your feet. Then just going from flexion in your cat stretch into that cow pose, into your extension. Keeping that angle behind your knee the same all the time. Can we just do one more each way? So just get as much movement in our spines as we can now. And then last time into that cow pose. Look forwards and lift your chest. Now, all I want you to do is start to straighten your legs and slide your hands down the front of your legs as you slowly fold over. Bend your knees a lot if you need to. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pull the abdominals in, navel to spine. Let's slowly restack our spines, come all the way up to standing. Shoulders are over your hips, now look forwards. Breathe in as you breathe out, chin to chest. Let's slowly come down again. So slide your hands down your thighs if you need to, otherwise just let the arms hang like ragdoll arms. Coming slowly, only go down as deep as you feel you can. Bend your knees a lot if you need to, otherwise hips over your heels. Then slowly coming back up like you're restacking one vertebrae of your spine at a time. Standing nice and tall at the top. Let's go down again one more last time. Breathe in, breathe out. Chin falls towards the chest, your shoulders, your upper back, your mid back. Slowly rounding as you come down. And you should be looking more or less towards your belly button if you're coming all the way down towards the floor. Try and relax your neck, your shoulders and your chest. Scooping your tummy in. Let's slowly restack and come all the way up to standing again. Standing nice and tall at the top. Take that little shoulder on there, just resetting your shoulders. Breathe in, lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Breathe out, lower them back, down by your sides. Breathe in, reach your arms wide to the sides. Breathe out, draw them back down. Breathe in, float your arms up towards the ceiling, circle them wide to the sides and bring them down. Breathe in, take your arms wide to the side, up overhead, shoulder distance apart, and then slowly let them float down. Let's lift the heels off the floor this time as we reach the arms up towards the ceiling, coming onto the balls of your feet. Lower your arms, lower your heels. Breathing in, reach your arms wide to the sides as you lift your heels off the floor, balancing. Keep your chest lifted, try not to lean forwards. Lower your heels, lower your arms. Breathing in, let's lift the arms, lift the heels, keep the chest lifted. And then circle your arms wide to the sides and down as you lower your heels. Lift your heels, circle the arms wide to the sides this time. Bring the arms shoulder distance apart overhead. Lower your arms shoulder distance apart as you lower your heels. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide your left hand down the side of your left leg. Slide the right hand up the side of your rib cage. Breathing in, coming back, standing nice and tall. Keep the length in your waist. Let's go the other side. Side bend this time. So just laterally flexing the spine. So imagine we're in between those two panes of glass here. Just bending side to side. Don't lean forwards, don't lean backwards. Stretch, slide your fingertips to the outside of your knee. Fingertips or hands slide up the side of your rib cage. And if you want just a little bit more, keep with that if you need to. Otherwise, just float your arms up towards the ceiling, soften your elbows. Breathe in as you breathe out with your arms overhead. Just take a little willow over to the right. Breathe in back through center, and then that willow over to the left. Just keep your head in between your upper arms. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Just a little bit more challenging with the weight of your arms overhead. Let's do one more. Just willow over to the left and let your left arm now just fall towards the floor as your right arm reaches up and over. Breathe in as you breathe out. Pull your left arm up overhead and let your right arm drop down towards the floor as your left arm reaches up and over. Keep your right arm where it is and then sweep the left arm all the way up and over and down by your sides. Let's get our glutes and our legs nice and warm now. So breathe in as you breathe out. We're going to sit back in a squat, sitting back and down, reaching forwards. Keep your chest and your eye gaze forward. Press into your squeeze your glutes, straighten your legs, stand nice and tall. And go again. It's up to you how deep you go. You might just want to bend your knees a little bit, or you might want to come a little bit lower, but always making sure the weight's heavy in your heels, particularly when you're coming out of the squat. Squeeze your glutes, straighten the legs, stand nice and tall. So just really working the big muscle groups in our legs. Keep your spine long, your neck's in line with your spine. Let's just do one more. So getting that warmth into our legs and then stand nice and tall at the top, and just again just a little baby shoulder on there just to reset your shoulders. So I'm going towards the end of my mat now. If you're not there already, just walk to the bottom end of the mat so that you've got the length of your mat in front of you. So we're going to come down onto all fours. So we're going to do that forward flexion again, but a big bend in the knees, or just put your hands on your thighs if you need to. So breathe in as you do that chin to chest. Let's come down again, nice and slowly, all the way down. When you're getting towards the mat, just bend your knees. That just takes a little bit of pressure off the spine. And then walk out onto the mat and come into your tabletop position. So just dropping your knees directly underneath your hips, your wrists up underneath your shoulders. So draw the shoulder blades back and down towards the base of the spine. So we're nice and lengthened in the spine here while we set ourselves up. Pull the abdominals in, navel to spine. Feel the length from the top of your head to your tail. Try and find that neutral position for your pelvis again in tabletop. So we're not tucking under, we're not tipping up, we're just in that position in between. We are going to change that in a moment, just when we get going. So remember to breathe into your upper body, into the sides of the rib cage, so your lateral breathing. So take a nice big deep in breath, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the right knee off the floor and we're going to round the spine again, and we're going to draw the nose towards the knee underneath it. So your cat stretch on 2 hands and 1 knee. And then as you breathe out, try and lengthen the spine back into that neutral position. And as you extend the leg long behind you, and then bend the knee, put the knee back down on the mat underneath your right hip. And then on your exhale, let's round the spine again, curling up, nose towards your knee underneath you. Make yourself nice and small here. And then as you breathe in, we're going to lengthen the leg long behind you. So the leg should now be in line with your hip, reaching through your toes. And put the knee back down on the mat underneath your hip. Let's go again. Right knee, curling up, knee to nose. And then as you inhale, extend the leg away. If you need to, just come onto your forearms, just take some pressure off your wrists if you need to. Just side to side, alternating. So we're making ourselves really small as we tuck the chin and the tail. And then we're really feeling that length in our spine again. Lengthen the spine into that neutral position as you stretch the leg along behind you. And let's keep going with that. Tucking under, scooping in. Extending the leg away, like you're trying to get your toes on that wall behind you. Lengthen the leg along out of your hip. So you don't need to get your knee onto your nose or your nose onto your knee, just draw them towards each other. So we find that flexion of the spine, or extending the leg away. Can we just do one more of those each side? Right knee to nose, curling up. Just maybe just pressing a little bit into the hands so we get a nice stretch across the back, the shoulders as we flex the spine. Last time, left knee, tuck under. And extend away. Just feel your shoulder blades glide down towards the base of your spine as you lengthen. And then put the left knee on the mat underneath your left hip. We're going to thread the needle now, alternating sides. So let's start with our right arm. As you breathe in, just float the right arm up towards the ceiling. Follow the arm with your eyes as if you're trying to stack your right shoulder over your left shoulder. And then as you breathe out, bend your left elbow and thread your right arm underneath your chest, reaching through. Your fingertips are reaching towards the left side wall now, quite low towards the floor. And then pressing into your left hand, straighten your left arm and put your right hand on the mat underneath your shoulder. Breathing in, we're going to lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, stacking your shoulders, looking up. As you do that, bending into your right elbow, we're going to thread that arm underneath your chest. So we're working through our sideways twisting as we reach through. Press into your right hand, straighten your right arm as you put your left hand back down. Let's go again. Right arm, lift up and reach. And threading under. So try and twist from the bottom of your rib cage. So you're not twisting your hips. Don't pull your hips through with you. You're just bending at the hips, flexing the hips, but we are twisting the spine. So bending, so working those oblique muscles, stretching, reaching through. And put the hand back down and let's keep going. Right arm, lift it up nice and high towards the ceiling. A big bend in that left elbow. Remember, don't pull that right hip through with you. Just flexing the hips. And then put the hand back down. Last time, left arm, reach up, look up. And then bend your elbow, right side. And then reach that, thread the arm through. Maybe go a little bit further. Perfect. And then just put your hand back on the mat. Walk your hands to your knees. Just come into a kneeling position. Circle your wrists. A few circles one way, a few circles the other way. And maybe a shoulder roll or two there again. So, working on the theme of a little bit of rotation in the spine today, let's walk the hands and walk ourselves towards the front end of the mat, so you've got the length of the mat behind you. And sit down, find your sit bones, so really nice and tall in your spine, making sure that the shoulders are over your hips, your chest is lifted, but your ribs are softened down towards your hips. So the same really nice good posture that we had when we set ourselves up standing. Shoulders away from you. So we're going to do a bow and arrow now. So we're going to start doing it with our spines nice and long. Then we're going to go into a C curve and do our bow and arrow as an option. So first of all, just reach your arms forward so they're shoulder distance apart, palms are facing in towards each other. From here, breathe in, nice and deep in, but as you breathe out, we're just going to bend the left elbow and draw the left elbow towards the wall behind you, just following the arm with your eyes, and breathing in, glide it back through again. So we're back at that starting point. Exhaling, bend your right elbow, keep your arm quite close to the side of your torso, pulling the elbow back, following it with your eyes. Bring the arm slowly back through again. And go again, left elbow, drawing it back, like you're drawing back an arrow on a bow and arrow. And then reaching through again. And pulling back. Just getting that twist in the spine. So really making sure the weight stays even in both of your sit bones. So your sit bones are glued to the mat here. Just do one of those each side. Last time with your right elbow, so always remember to try and do the same amount of repetitions each side. So we're going to do that in a half roll back. So if you're not sure, just watch me for the first one or two. So breathe in. As you breathe out, we're going to find a C curve in our spine. Scoop the navel in towards the spine and draw the left elbow towards the bottom left-hand side of your mat. And then breathing in, we're going to reach the arm through. Maintain your C curve until your shoulders are over your hips, and then build your spine and sit nice and tall. Exhaling C curve, navel to spine. Draw the right elbow towards the bottom right-hand side of your mat. And then pull the arm back through. And then reset, stack, sit tall at the top. And go again. Pulling it left. It doesn't matter how far you go. You might not get your elbow anywhere near the floor. That doesn't matter. Just going back as far as you think you can. Some of you might be able to go a little bit deeper than others. Some of you might even manage to get your elbow on the mat. But don't worry, that is not the main aim. The main aim is just get that little bit of work into your sideways, into your obliques. Just get a little bit of rotation as well and movement in your spine. Really focus on working with your breath and your core strength. So all the way, this is your powerhouse, your core. So all the energy comes from there. So that supports our back, it protects our back. Just do one on each side. So really focus on building up core strength. And once you've built up core strength, we need to maintain it. So having a really good, strong core is so good for your posture and for looking after your back, amongst other things. Breathe in, lift your arms up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe it, just fold over. Just let your chest fall towards your thighs, let your arms fall towards the floor, let your chin fall towards your chest. Just release. Good. So from there, let's come onto our sides now before we go onto our back. So just do a couple of sideline exercises. So it doesn't matter which side you're lying on, but make sure you're comfortable. So have your bottom arm either long, so you can rest your head on your bicep, or you bend your elbow, so you could just make a little, sort of a little pillow with your arm if that's easier for you. You could even put your head on the pillow and have your arm in front of you. If you haven't got a cushion handy, don't worry, head on your bicep one way or another. So have the knees bent, but it's quite important that you line your heels up with your sit bones and your shoulders. So you use the back end of your mat as a guide. So your heels, sit bones and shoulders should be in alignment with that back edge of your mat. We need to make sure that we're looking forward, so we're not looking down or up, so your neck's in line with the spine. And let's make sure our hips are stacked. So just push your top hip, use your hand, just push your top hip towards your feet. And then you should feel that top hip sit directly over your bottom hip. And then that should allow a little space to arrive just underneath your inner sideways, like a little mouse hole there. So that our spine is lengthened, it's not scooping down towards the floor. So how do we keep that? We use our core. So draw the abdominals in, keep lifted in your abdominals, or lift up your pelvic floor. So feel that we're really balanced both sides of the body here, keeping the top shoulder away from the ear. You can keep your hand on your hip, you can rest your hand on your thigh, or you can put your fingertips on the floor. If you need a little bit of stability, just giving your hand on the floor, just even psychologically, maybe just gives you a little bit more support. So from here, just float your top leg, keep on the knee bent, just float the top leg away from the bottom leg, so your legs are hip distance apart. So your top leg is in line with your top hip. Your knee and your heel are in line with each other. So we haven't changed the shape of the leg, we've just floated the top leg away from the bottom leg. So feel the weight of your leg. You don't need to do anything, we're just working, just keeping the leg unsupported, but we're going to start to move now. So from here, take an in breath, breathe in, and as you breathe out, just slowly, without changing the shape of the leg, draw your knee in towards your chest, and then as you breathe in, bring the knee back until it's in line with your bottom knee, and then on your next exhale, lift the knee up towards the ceiling. And breathe in, lower the knee, leg back down just to hip height. Exhale, knee comes forward. Inhale, it draws back, so your legs are in alignment. Exhale, lift the leg up. And inhale, lower it back down. Don't let it rest, it keeps hip distance apart all the time when it's down. Forwards and in, and up and down. So try and have the knee facing forwards all the time. Even when you're lifting the leg up towards the ceiling, try not to turn the knee up to the ceiling, keep it pointing forwards. So we're halfway, so your leg might begin to feel quite heavy, rest if you need to. So we're really working around our hips, around our glutes, strengthening, getting that mobility. It's so important to keep our hips healthy. So one more last time, so mobility and strength. And last time, bring that leg just to a hover. Can you stretch your top leg away now? Point your toes. Feel like you're lengthening your leg out of your hips. So that leg is again hip height. Breathe in as you breathe out. We're just going to draw some circles with the top leg, as if you're drawing little small circles on the wall in front of that leg. Round and round you go. Try and switch off the bottom leg completely. Going to do 4 more in that direction. Bend your knee if you need to. If it becomes too much with your legs straight, just do these with your bent knee. When you've done 8 one way, come to the top of that last circle. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's go round the other way. And just really remember, if it becomes too much, just take a rest. Have you still got that space underneath your side waist? If you haven't, just stretch your top leg a little bit longer as you're circling it. 2 more to go, just feel that work. And then bend your top knee. Bring the top knee forward so it rests on the mat or just on the floor by the side of your mat. So that should really allow those muscles in your glutes and your hips to switch off. And that top hip just rolls forward slightly. So all we need to do is, if you're at home, or you are at home, you might just be able to roll it over onto your other side. Otherwise, coming up to seated and onto your other side. So just taking a moment now just to make sure that you've got that really good alignment again. So heels towards the sit bones, so your knees are bent. Heels, sit bones and shoulders lined up with the back side of your mat. Lengthen your neck, so look forwards, don't look down or up. Neck's in line with your spine. Head on your bicep, bend the elbow if you want to. And then hands on your hip, just push your top hip towards your feet, lift the inner side waist off the floor, that little space. Try to keep that space throughout the set of exercises if you can. So try not to slump down towards the floor. Feel really long in your spine. So again, just feel the abdominals really drawing in. So zip up your trousers here or lift up your pelvic floor. So from there, when you're ready, keep the shoulder away from this. Make sure your arm is comfortable. Your shoulders need to be stacked. Hand on your hip with your elbow bent or fingertips on the floor. Keep your shoulders stacked. Float the top leg away from the bottom leg. So your heel and your knee are in alignment and your top leg is at hip height. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just slowly draw your knee in towards your chest. Don't move anything else. And then as you breathe in, bring the knee back in until it's back where it started, over your bottom knee. And then exhale and lift the leg up and lower it back down to hip height. Forwards and back and up and down. So throughout, the shape of the leg doesn't change. It's just that movement through your hip. Remember to breathe. So remember you're breathing into your upper body, into the sides and the back of your rib cage. In through your nose and out through your mouth. So always try and working with the breath. If you get your breathing muddled up and you're breathing, you know, when I say breathe in, you're breathing out, really don't worry too much. As long as you're breathing, that's the most important thing. The most important things are you're breathing and you're keeping your abdominals, you're keeping your tummy pulled in. I've lost count. Let's just do one more. In and back and up. And lower your top leg down just to hip height. Stretch your top leg away. Reach through your toes. Keep that space under your side waist. Toes are softly pointed. Let's start to circle that top leg. So 8 circles. So just imagine you're drawing circles on the wall in front of your foot with your toes. Don't rush. Try and keep everything else really still. Bend your knee if you need to. And one more last time, get to the top of that circle. Breathe in as you breathe out, taking those circles around the other way. You holding your breath. So easy to forget to breathe. 4 more if you can. And last time. Now again, just bend the knee. Just allow that knee to fall to the floor in front of your bottom leg. Release off around your hips, around your glutes. Just take a breath or two there in your recovery. Just switching off. And then from there, just roll over onto your backs. I'm just going to come onto my other side. But just roll over onto your backs now. So find our neutral lying down position. So semi-supine. Lying on your back, so that means our knees are bent. So have your heels, your knees and your hip bones in alignment. And if you want to put your head on a cushion, block or folded up towel, just please do so. Not obligatory, I don't use one, but some people need to. If you feel that your head's tipping back like this, what happens is we shorten the muscles in the back of the neck. So we don't want that to happen. So we want to keep the neck long so the base of the skull is on the mat. So the back of the neck is open. So if you feel you like this, just pop something underneath the back of your head to support your head and your neck. So lying down, we just need to make sure we're in a really good posture here as well. So focus on keeping your shoulders wide, chest wide and open. Soften your ribs again down towards your hips. Find that neutral position for your pelvis again. So just press the very lower part of your back onto the mat. Arch it away and then settle in that neutral position in between. So you should feel your lower back's lengthened on the floor and you've just got a very small, maybe, curve underneath your lower back there. So you may be able to just slide a flat hand just behind your lower back there. Don't worry, we're all different. Some of us will have a much bigger curve than others, depending on your physiology. We're all built very differently. The most important thing again is that the lower back stays on the floor all the time, so we're using our core muscles to support our back. So from here, just turn your palms in to face your hips. So your thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling. So focus on using your core now. So really focus on that core strength. Breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the left foot off the floor, bring the left knee over the hip, and take both of the arms towards the floor behind you. Breathing in, we're going to bring the arms back up and over and put your left foot on the floor exactly where it came from. Your right foot is going to lift, so we're not changing the shape of the leg. The arms are going towards the floor behind you and the knees coming over your hip. No closer to your chest than that. So it's not a huge range of movement. So maintaining that right angle behind your knee. Exhaling, lift. Inhale. Put your foot back down. When we're floating the arms back, try not to hyperextend the rib cage. So don't let your rib cage overflare. So try and keep the ribs softened down towards your hips. Nothing else should be moving. We're just moving through the shoulder and through the hip joint here. So that might be enough for you today. When you lift the foot off the floor, you're breathing out. You should feel that your abdominals really need to switch on a little bit more to keep your spine, your pelvis nice and still. If you want to work a little bit harder now, let's lift the feet off the floor one at a time. Bring your knees over your hips, so directly over your hips. So you just feel like your thigh bones are sinking into your hips here. Heels in line with your knees. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's take the arms back as your left toe goes towards the floor. Arms up and over as your knee comes back over your hip. So much more challenging now with both of the feet off the floor. Feel the difference, how much more you need to work with that core strength, with your abdominals pulling in as you're lowering and lifting the legs and sweeping the arms back, just keeping the ribs drawn down towards the hips. So just focus, concentrate, working with the breath, with your core strength, just that movement in your shoulders and your hips. Let's just change this just a little bit. On your next toe tap or knee float, take both of the arms back as your toe taps down. As your knee comes back in, circle your arms wide to the side and bring your knee back over your hip. Two arms go back, toe taps down, arms circle wide, the knee comes back in. Or you can go back to having both your feet on the floor. And as you lift the knee over your hip, your arms go back. And as you put your foot back down on the floor, your arms can circle wide to the side. So if you need to keep at least one foot on the floor all the time, go back to that first level. So just adding in these arm circles, it just really allows the chest, the shoulders to open. So working a little bit more into our shoulder and our chest muscle and our arms as well with these arm circles. Can we just do one more of those each side? Rest if you've had enough. Last time, right toe taps as your arms go back. Sweep your arms wide to the side, round and in. And then wherever you were with your feet, bring both of your knees in towards your chest. So give your knees a really good hug here. And take a little gentle rock from side to side. So from there, one at a time, let's put our feet down on the floor. So we haven't really done much with our upper abdominals yet. So let's bring the focus a little bit further up towards our upper abdominals now, still maintaining the work in our lower core to support the lower back. But we're just going to do some chest curls now. So reset your bodies into that neutral posture that we started with your heels, knees and hips in alignment, making sure that our pelvis is in neutral, your abdominals are pulled in. And then just take your fingertips to the side of the head. If you've got a weak neck and you feel you need to support your head a little bit more, just interlace your fingers and just cradle the back of your head in your hands. And then you can actually just press your head into your hands as you're lifting low your head and shoulders. Otherwise, just actually strengthen the neck muscles a little bit if you can. Just have your fingertips just resting very lightly on your temples here. Wherever your hands are, lift the elbows away from the floor so they're just above the level of your ears so that you can just see them in your peripheral vision, just out the corners of your eyes. So when you're ready, again, engage your core, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the head and shoulders off the mat. And as you breathe in, you're going to lower back down again. And coming up again, feel like you're scooping in here. So we're drawing the ribs towards the hips as we come up and slowly coming back down again. Work with your breath, lift, exhaling. Inhale, so it doesn't matter how high you come, but we don't want to come up any higher than the tips of our shoulder blades here. And if you can't come up that high, it does not matter. Just come up as high as you can. Keep that space in between your chin and your chest as if you've got a little soft peach tucked underneath your chin. So let's just do a couple more like that with your feet on the floor. And you can stay with this. Or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, next time your shoulders and your head are on the mat, one at a time, lift your feet off the floor and bring your legs to a tabletop position. Immediately you feel those lower abdominals are really having to work harder to keep our knees over our hips and to keep the lower back on the floor. We're not going to move our legs, we're just going to keep them there. Feet on the floor or legs in this tabletop position. Let's carry on with our chest curls. Exhaling, lifting up, inhale, lowering back down again. And go again, so scooping in as you lift, make sure you're looking forward, you're keeping that space in between your chin and your chest. Keep your elbows nice and wide. Can you still see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes? Don't let them come in any closer than that. Let's do 3 more if you can, just really feeling that challenge now. 2 more. 1 more last time if you can. Lift. Lower your head and shoulders down. Hands on your knees, knees in towards your chest, give them a hug. So just when you hug your knees in, we just can open up the lower back there, just getting a little bit of release. And then put your feet back down on the floor. So a lot of flexion there in our upper body and our hips as well. So now we're going to work in a bridge, and this really allows the front of the hips to really open. So it lengthens our hip flexors there, and we're working into the back of the body. So I think we've done this a few times now. So I'm sure you're hopefully all familiar with the shoulder bridge. If you're not, we'll set ourselves up. So in that same neutral line position, legs hip distance apart. The only difference now is we walk the heels in closer towards the sit bones. So your heels are about a hand distance away from your sit bones. Fingertips reaching towards the bottom end of the mat, still maintaining that neutral pelvis before you start and the connection to your core. Keep the length in your neck. If you did happen to put anything underneath your head, like a cushion or anything, take it away so the back of your head needs to be on the mat here. So when you're ready, let's go. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just tuck your tailbone under, flatten your lower back onto the mat, and then squeeze your glutes and very slowly allow your hips to lift up towards the ceiling as you peel your spine away from the mat, coming onto your shoulders. Breathe in. As you breathe out very slowly, let's come back down again. So bone by bone, we're releasing our spine onto the mat. So that action that we came up in, we're reversing it on the way down. Breathe in, let's go again, tuck the tail, flatten back, squeeze your glutes, make sure your knees stay hip distance apart. So maybe just press into your feet, drive your knees forward as you lift your hips. Try not to flare your rib cage. So just a nice strong bridge there, diagonal line from your knee all the way down to your shoulders, exhaling, coming back down again. You can add in an arm movement here, only if you feel you want to. So on your next exhale, as you peel your spine away from it, just allow your arms to float up towards the ceiling, and then as far towards the floor behind you as you want to take them, all the way back if you want to, as long as you don't have shoulder issues. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just allow your arms to slowly come up and over. and down by your sides as you release your spine back down on the mat. And go again. Keep your arms down by your sides if it's not for you, and just coming up as high as you can into your bridge. Really focus on squeezing your glutes, pulling the abdominals in, and then slowly coming back down again. So this is really lovely to mobilize the spine, to strengthen the back of the body. So again, in our bridge, we're strengthening the muscles in our back that keep our spines really straight and supported and safe as well. And strong glutes, really look after your back as well. So having a strong core and strong glutes are really positives for back health. Let's just do one more. Push into your feet, push your knees forward, squeeze your bottom, take your arms back and lift your hips high. And slowly coming back down again on that last exhale. Releasing slowly your spine all the way down onto the mat. So from there, we are going to just a little bit more work today, just for a change. Let's roll yourselves up to seated. Go onto your side and come up to seated. So I think we've done quite a few of these half rollbacks over the last few weeks. So if you want a little bit more of a challenge, we can progress from there. So let's just remind ourselves, you can sit with your knees bent, your knees and feet hip width apart. So your feet are flat on the floor, and you can do your half roll back, which we've done quite a few times. So just tucking under, just rounding the spine, just going halfway back, and then coming back up again, stacking your spine at the top. If you want to take that further, extend your legs long, pin your legs together, point your toes up towards the ceiling. So now your shoulders are over your hips in that same neutral spine position, sitting really nice and tall. So we're going to roll all the way down, and we're going to peel our spines and roll all the way up. But remember, just go halfway down and come back up if you know that you can't come all the way up out of your full roll down. But give it a go if you feel you can. So using the abdominals, arms reach forward, breathe in. As you breathe out, C-curve your spine, tuck your tail under, roll off your sit bones, start to one at a time with your vertebrae, one by one, roll it back, imprinting your spine. Let your arms float up towards the ceiling, towards the floor behind you as your shoulders and your head rest on the floor. As you breathe in, float your arms up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, draw your chin in towards your chest and peel your spine away. But do not allow your heels to lift off the floor. When your shoulders are over your hips, restack your spine, sit really tall at the top. So come down again. I'm going to give you an option. If you can't roll up like we just did like that, if your heels start to float off the floor, come all the way down. It should be easier coming down. Either come up that same way as we just did as we came down, or just bring your knees in towards your chest, circle your arms wide round by your sides, hands behind your thighs, and roll yourselves up. And then you can go again, slide your legs long, reach your arms forward, roll down. So you can either roll up like a ball, or you can come with me. So arms go back, head and shoulders down, breathe in, arms come up, and as you breathe out, we're going to peel the spine away from that. So really focus on using those core muscles, really good for our abdominal strength. Let's just do two more. Remember, roll it like a ball, or just do those half roll backs with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, if that's your option. So plenty of options. And let's come up, reach forwards. Can we do that one more last time? Let's roll down. And I'll tell you what, let's roll all the way down. All of you roll all the way down. Use your hands for support if you need to. Then like all the way down. Stretch your legs away if your knees are bent. Slide your heels along the floor. Let's take a really lovely full body stretch here. So reach from your fingertips all the way down to your toes. So now we can allow the back to arch off the floor. Just gently soften your shoulders into the mat. So this is your full body stretch. And just breathe. So just enjoy that lovely openness front of the body as we open up. And then from there, bring your arms back down by your sides. Just slide your feet in one at a time. Knees are bent, knees and feet hip width apart. Let's just bring the left knee in towards your chest. Give your left knee a hug, hug it in nice and close. Circle your ankle, a few circles one way and a few circles the other way. Put your left foot on the floor next to your right foot. Let's just stretch out on the other side. Right knee in. Nice hug there. Circle your ankle. A few circles one way. A few circles the other way. Keep your right knee in. Bring your left knee in to join it. So you can either roll up like a ball to seated or just go over onto your side and push yourself up to seated. Make sure you come up nice and safely to that seated position. So here, I'm just going to sit with my legs crossed today. So you can sit with your legs crossed or your legs long in front of you. Just roll your shoulders, sit really nice and tall. Focus on the length in your spine, lifting up through the top of your head. And then just take your fingertips to the side of your hips. Breathe in, take your arms wide to the side, bring your palms together overhead. Slowly draw your hands down towards the centre of your chest. Breathe in, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, pull your elbows back in line with your ears. As you breathe out, extend your arms along, reach for the ceiling, spread your fingers, turn your palms outwards, and slowly bring your arms all the way around and down by your sides. Roll your shoulders, just relax your wrists, and well done. Another Tuesday.